So welcome to the weekly static. Yeah, I'm gonna work on a theme song. I can't actually play music because I think there's like a 20-second rule, and then you have to pay like a large amount of money, and I don't have that large amount of money. Hi, yeah, this is the weekly static. This is actually season 1, episode 30. Yes, we've been doing this for 30 weeks. The guy who can't carry a tune if it had a handle on it. My name is Ray Flook, television beat writer for Bleeding Cool. I'd like to welcome you back for our weekly edition. I am here on behalf of Bat-Murr, Trejo, Rocky, and Margot Staten, who are all out and about doing weekly static stuff, I'm sure. I'm here to talk about the top 5 things in this past week in Bleeding Cool television coverage. Just to give you an idea what this is about. Usually pick 5 themes. We don't rank them. We don't base them on priority because there's a lot of great writing that gets done by Bleeding Cool's writers across all the genres. But pick out 5 themes that kind of got to us in the past week. Offer you our perspective on it, see what you think. Hopefully you like it, even if you don't like it, even if you don't agree with it. Again, nothing wrong with that. Healthy debate. Let us know what you think. Comment below. Hit me up on social media. I think my contacts are down below also, so let me know what you think. But again, we look at what we call our top 5, starting with 5, ranking down to number 1, which again, some people have told me, why do you do that since you're telling us they're not in that order? It's a John Cusack thing, okay? High fidelity. I've explained this before, looking past weekly statics, but yeah. Here's our top 5, beginning with number 5. And speaking of John Cusack, don't mean to start on a downer note, but MASH star David Ogden-Stiers, who played Winchester on the long-running hit sitcom about the Korean War, passed away this week. The reason why I'm saying in regards to John Cusack, because as much as I love MASH, and MASH was just pound for pound one of the best sitcoms, Alan Alda's performance there is just so neo-Groucho Marx that I will inundate myself. If I start watching one episode, I'll want to watch a whole medley of them. It's just the mix of serious and humor is just done so incredibly well. And David Ogden-Stiers' Winchester was such a great replacement to Frank Burns. Larry Linville, I believe the actor's name was such a great contrast to him and a great foil to BJ and Hawkeye. I just really, really loved it. And again, it just a heavy loss, specifically for a John Cusack fan. As much as, again, as I loved him as Winchester, I will always remember him as the father from Better Off Dead. And if you haven't seen Better Off Dead, it's just one of the great John Cusack movies you got to see. Better Off Dead, One Crazy Summer, High Fidelity, Gross Point Blank, just to name 4. There's more, but we're just going to go with that. So that's number 5. Rest in peace, David Ogden-Stiers. Number 4. We're going to take a look at the Oscars. For those of you who didn't know, we did our first test live streaming of the Oscars through Facebook Live for Bleeding Cool this week, and it went incredibly well. 5 hours, long time to stand. I got a mental note. Remember that. Oscars themselves, it was great to see genre movies in play, and I don't think that's been getting enough attention. I found myself debating between Get Out and The Shape of Water, and that's just not something I was ever really expecting to do. So it was really, really great to see. I know there's been some backlash about The Shape of Water. I know people, have their different feelings on it. I think it's just one of those movies. I got a lot out of it, but I can respect why people didn't. But the Oscar broadcast itself, I thought it's weird. It went smooth, and yet I gotta scratch my head and go, I don't know why you went 45 minutes over. I really don't, because it didn't seem like, except I think one person, nobody was really getting played off. So it was very odd. Jimmy Kimmel, I thought, did a very good, strong, solid job. I think you start the show the best way you can. I think you can't go too heavy and too hard, just because it's just the lay of the land and how things are now. I thought the social messages and the social issues were expressed incredibly well. I thought they were informative and educational. I don't think anybody just went on tirades for the sake of tirades, but both during the ceremony and on the red carpet. I actually thought the red carpet was really good. Very interesting to see, by the way, how many people, if that was going to be a drinking game, you would have passed out, seeing how many people snubbed Ryan Seacrest. So, very interesting in that regard. So that's Oscars number 4. I'm going to go to number 3, The Boys. For those of you who haven't heard, Jack Quaid, who is the son of Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan, he's been cast as Huey in Amazon's adaptation of Garth Ennis and Derek Robinson's The Boys. I'm very excited for this. The casting, again, you see some people who were saying, why didn't you cast Simon Pegg? Is it based on Simon Pegg? Simon Pegg's gone down the road in the age situation a little bit by now. I think even he would steadily admit that. Even Shaun of the Dead, it might have been questionable, but now that it's been some time, I think we got good, solid casting here. The reason why I included this is because I think it's going to be key. Whoever is going to be Butcher is going to have to be a big name. I don't know specifically who you go. I mean, Liev Schreiber, I think, would be an interesting choice. I'm always going to go Jeffrey Dean Morgan, with Negan. I think that would be a great choice, too. John Hamm, I think, would be a fascinating choice also. But again, I don't think you necessarily need to stick with a white guy. I think you can... here's the thing. I would Idris Elba in everything because he just rocks. So, but I think there are a lot of different directions that you can go. But it's got to be somebody who has a name and who has a presence, because you have a lot of these great young up and coming actors who've been in some quality stuff that people know. But Butcher's going to be the one that's going to have to really rein it in. So I'm very interested to see when that final casting decision is going to be announced. It seems like we're leading up to that since all the other major roles seem to be in place. So that was number 3. Number 2. Comes word that Lucha Underground is trying to send out cease and desist orders from people giving out spoilers for their tapings. Really, again, it's the age-old adage of when a parent tells a kid when they can't do something, what are they going to do more of? That thing they were told they can't do. There's always going to be spoilers. Spoilers are always going to be spread around. If it's not going to be on a formalized website like Wrestling Inc., it's going to be on Reddit. It's going to be on Twitter. It's going to be on anything that's actively available. Hell, to be honest with you, Lucha Underground, be thankful people are talking about you. It doesn't seem like spoilers seem to be hurting a lot in regards to viewership and ratings. Be thankful that people care. I think you should be more concerned if you're holding an event that's supposed to be televised and has some importance, and nobody seems to give a rat ass about what's going on, who wins, or anything like that. So, again, cease and desist orders. I'm hoping this is just some kind of big company work, and they're not really serious about it, just to kind of get themselves some attention. I'm just not sure it's the kind of attention you want. It's the kind of attention that doesn't make fans very happy. So, yeah, Lucha Underground, and anybody thinking of doing that, you don't see the WWE doing this, and that's the reason, because they know at the end of the day, with house shows and things like that, or especially like when it's shows that are going to be taped like Raws overseas, things like that. So, yeah, number 2, you know better, Lucha Underground. That was number 2. Last, Grey's Anatomy. For those of you who don't know, two regular series cast members. I want to say Capshaw and Drew, and I'm forgetting their names right now because I keep wanting to say Kate Capshaw. But the biggest story about this is they are not going to be returning for season 15, even though season 15 hasn't been officially renewed by ABC yet. But it's expected to be renewed because lead actress Ellen Pompeo has just signed a big, lucrative, multi-area deal that could net her up to $20 million. So they're figuring that that kind of deal for 2 years was signed, the show is going to come back. The reason why I'm talking about this is because Deadline Hollywood, which we actually, Bleeding Cool, used as a source material, but we made it a point of not making this connection. Ellen Pompeo and the showrunner are really going after Deadline Hollywood, which they believe made a correlation and connection that somehow Ellen Pompeo's contract had something to do with these two actors not coming back for the next season. And they really wanted to make sure, look, it was a lousy insinuation that they did. And in the article, you'll see that I included a section from Deadline Hollywood's original article. I'm saying this because they really did. It's one of those hey, this comes hot on the heels of Ellen Pompeo getting a $20 million contract. And we all know in these instances, it's not one or the other. And you have to wonder sometimes, did somebody at the studio float that to Deadline Hollywood to try and twist knives or anything like that? But Ellen Pompeo and the showrunner were having nothing to do with that, taking to social media to just be like, look, this is apples, this is oranges, one has to do with the other, stop trying to create divide, and more importantly, and this is the point I think that really drove home, Ellen Pompeo is another instance of trying to pit women against women. And I think that especially was a very effective point that she made. So, again, it's one of those instances where it's just a matter of 2 to 3 words can give a wrong impression. And I have to agree. I got to say this, as it may not be always the most popular thing for media to not side with media, but in this instance, if you look at the wording, I completely understand where they're coming from. So, completely understand they went on social media to take care of that. That's our number 1. So thank you guys for joining me. This is our weekly static. We're going to be doing some things with it over the next couple of weeks, but I also have some time for some blatant plugs. Sunday night, we're going to be going back to our normal 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Walking Dead live blog, and we're going to be having the recap coming within a couple hours after that. On Sunday also, just as a follow-up to our set visit for ABC's Deception, we're going to have an opportunity to give a review for the pilot episode. If you haven't checked it out yet, we've had some interviews with cast and crew going up this week. Check them out online. We have one today and one going up tomorrow. So I hope you guys enjoy that. And we also have, through the weekly static, we have some iZombie updates that are going to be going up. Again, episode 2 will be posting on Monday ahead of Monday night's episode 3. So thank you guys. Hope you guys are enjoying all this stuff. I will keep you posted on what's going on with the weekly static. Have a great weekend, and I will see some of you Walking Dead fans Sunday night when we take a look at the newest episode. Take care, folks, and on behalf of everybody here, enjoy your Friday, enjoy your weekend.